What if the thick, tangled coat covering a dog's body is hiding more than knots and mats? What if beneath that heavy layer of fur lies a story of neglect, discomfort, resilience, and hope waiting to be uncovered? Today's challenge begins with a dog whose coat has become a maze of tightly packed mats, each one pulling against the skin with every movement. At first glance, the situation seems almost impossible, and many would assume that shaving is the only answer. Yet the question remains, can this dog be saved without shaving, preserving as much of the coat as possible, while still protecting the animals of the comfort and well-being? As the grooming process begins, every stroke of the comb reveals the complexity of the task ahead. Dematting is not simply about appearance. It is about understanding the balance between beauty and compassion. A healthy coat can be a source of protection and comfort, but when it becomes severely matted, it can transform into a burden that affects a dog's quality of life. Each knot tells a story of time passing without proper maintenance, and each section of tangled fur presents a decision that must be made carefully and responsibly. The goal is never to save the coat at all costs. The goal is to serve the dog. That principle guides every step of the journey as the groomer examines the condition of the cat fur, the sensitivity of the skin, and the dog's ability to tolerate the process. Inspired by the thoughtful approach often shared by Dr. Karen Becker, this challenge highlights an important truth that every pet owner should understand. Grooming decisions should always prioritize the physical and emotional welfare of the animal. A beautiful result means very little if achieving it causes unnecessary pain or stress. As tools are prepared and the first sections of matting are carefully separated, patience becomes the most valuable skill in the room. Progress is measured not in dramatic transformations but in small victories, one tangle at a time. The dog begins to relax, sensing gentle handling and consistent care, while hidden sections of healthy fur slowly emerge from beneath the dense matting. Still, the path forward remains uncertain. Some areas appear manageable, while others are packed so tightly that even experienced eyes recognize the risks involved. The challenge becomes a lesson in humility, reminding us that nature cannot always be rushed, and that every animal deserves individualized care. With each passing minute, the groomer must weigh the desire to preserve the coat against the responsibility to prevent discomfort. The outcome is far from guaranteed, but one thing is already clear. This is not merely a grooming session. It is a test of knowledge, compassion, judgment, and respect for a dog that depends entirely on human choices. As more of the coat is revealed, the true extent of the challenge begins to emerge, setting the stage for a decision that could change everything. As the grooming process moves deeper into the most challenging stage, the atmosphere in the room begins to shift from cautious optimism to intense concentration, where every movement carries weight and every decision must be made with precision and care. What once seemed like a straightforward dematting session now reveals itself as a far more complex test of patience, skill, and ethical judgment. The groomer is no longer simply working on a coat. The groomer is navigating a living boundary between comfort and discomfort, between preservation and relief, and between what looks ideal and what truly serves the well-being of the dog. Each section of fur that is carefully separated exposes a deeper layer of matting, tightly compacted against the skin, reminding everyone present that neglect is not always visible on the surface, but often hides beneath layers that grow silently over time. The dog remains remarkably still, not because the process is easy, but because trust has been built through consistent gentleness and calm reassurance. Yet even with that trust, moments of tension are unavoidable, especially when the comb meets resistance so strong that it forces a pause in action and a reconsideration of strategy. It is in these moments that the philosophy often emphasized by Dr. Karen Becker becomes especially relevant, as the priority is never cosmetic perfection but physiological and emotional safety. The groomer pauses more than once, carefully assessing whether continuing to demat is still humane or whether shaving would become the kinder option. This internal debate is not a sign of uncertainty and skill, but rather a reflection of responsibility, because every mat removed carries both relief and risk depending on the condition beneath it. As the work continues, small victories begin to emerge in the form of loosened sections of fur and visible patches of healthier coat, yet they are contrasted by areas so tightly bound that even slight movement causes discomfort. The suspense builds as one particularly severe mat cluster is discovered near a sensitive region, forcing a complete halt in progress while careful evaluation takes place. The room grows quieter in spirit, not in sound, as focus narrows to a single question of how to proceed without causing harm. Slowly, through patience and methodical technique, progress resumes, but it is measured in millimeters rather than inches. Each strand freed from the mat feels like a small release of tension, not just for the dog, but for the groomer as well. Still, uncertainty lingers, because the outcome is not guaranteed, and the balance between preservation and welfare remains delicate. The experience becomes less about grooming and more about understanding responsibility at its deepest level, where compassion must guide every tool, every touch, and every decision. By the end of this stage, it is clear that the challenge is not simply physical, but moral, requiring awareness, restraint, and above all, respect for the life in front of the groomer. As the final stage of the grooming journey unfolds, the answer that once seemed impossible begins to take shape. The coat that appeared beyond saving has been transformed through patience, skill, and careful judgment, yet the true victory extends far beyond appearance. What matters most is that every decision throughout the process has been guided by the dog's comfort and welfare. Some portions of the coat have been preserved, while other sections required more aggressive intervention, creating a result that reflects balance rather than perfection. This outcome serves as a powerful reminder that responsible grooming is never a contest between shaving and dematting. It is a thoughtful evaluation of what best serves the animal in front of us. The dog now moves with greater ease, free from the constant tension that tightly packed mats can place on the skin. Areas that were once hidden beneath layers of tangled fur are now clean, healthy, and able to breathe again. The transformation is remarkable, but the lesson behind it is even more valuable. Many pet owners understandably focus on maintaining a beautiful coat, yet beauty should never come at the expense of comfort. The most loving choice is not always the one that preserves the most fur. Sometimes the most loving choice is the one that provides relief, even when it changes a pet's appearance temporarily. This is a message that Dr. Karen Becker has consistently emphasized through her educational approach to animal wellness. Every grooming decision should begin with a simple question: what is best for the pet? When that question becomes the foundation of care, difficult choices become clearer. Looking at this dog now, it becomes evident that compassion and practicality can work together. The experience also highlights the importance of prevention, regular brushing, routine grooming appointments, and close attention to a pet's coat condition can prevent severe matting before it develops into a serious problem. Small efforts performed consistently often eliminate the need for difficult decisions. Later, for viewers watching this transformation, the challenge offers more than entertainment. It provides knowledge that can improve the lives of countless pets. Every brushstroke, every careful assessment, and every decision made during this process demonstrates the responsibility that comes with caring for an animal. The coat may continue to grow and change, but the trust built through gentle handling and thoughtful care creates a lasting impact. In the end, the greatest success is not the preservation of fur. The greatest success is restoring comfort, dignity, and well-being to a living creature that depends on human compassion. That is the heart of responsible grooming, and that is the lesson this extraordinary dematting challenge leaves behind. If you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.